Hi guys, welcome back to the Learning Gardener. If you haven't been here before, my name is Pip and we are with the Betties in the coop. And the Betties still don't have a name really, except for Freckle Betty. She's going to keep going by Freckle Betty. But it's the other two Betties that are the problem. So we are doing a lot of learning here. This is morning number 2 of chickens, and they did really well last night. To be fair, I didn't come out and check them, but they're still alive, so something must have gone well. But yesterday we put in roosts, and it seemed that when I came to check on everybody this morning, that everybody was at least trying to be on a roost, which is progress. Except Partridge Betty does look like she has still nested in the poop chute area a little bit, and there was a bright red poop in there this morning, which oddly I can't see now. So what that means is that if there was any doubt that the tiny drop of blood in the box that we transported Big Betty home in, if there was any doubt that that was the coccidiosis, the bleeding butt plague that chickens can get, well, there's now no doubt, because Partridge Betty, who came from the same breeder, assuming that everybody stayed in their place last night, Partridge Betty definitely had a red poop this morning. So unfortunately I'm learning a lot about chicken poop, and I'm a bit worried that it'll go to the dogs, and I'm a bit worried about my track record of only adopting animals with broken guts. So what I've done is left this open to air, because I did notice that it was a bit like in there this morning, but they have pooped a lot more last night than they did the night before. But originally my plan was to leave it open at night, because I am returning to work soon, so they've chosen an excellent time to need daily care. But I was hoping to leave that open so that they could put themselves in and out, but again, I haven't finished the coop, but I might try leaving that open tonight, just because it's so, I want good aeration. I don't want, Freckle Betty still seems to be fine. I don't want Freckle Betty to get plague. So what I'm going to do this morning is, I've realized, number one, I've put the water feeder down too low, and I realized chickens can bend. And thankfully they seem to be doing more of that this morning. They seem to be doing a lot more scratching around this morning. So I think they're a lot less stressed. And I'm wondering if this coccidiosis is why they weren't that interested in kitchen scraps. But I'm going to take the water out and empty it, put the treatment powder in, refill it, come and put it back in. I don't know if I actually need to take out the water every day, but I'm going to, because I haven't got it connected to the hose yet, because I haven't got the right fitting. Which I really, really need to do. I'm going to clean this out, and I'm going to remove the poop from the site, and I'm going to go around, and if I can see any poops, I'm going to remove them. Obviously that is a fairly futile effort, because they're probably actively pooping now. This is like Poop Talk 101. How many times can you say poop in a 3-minute video? Don't do it as a drinking game, guys, because you might get in trouble. But I'm going to go around and clean up what I can, just to try and minimize the chances that they're scratching around and pecking in infected you know what. And I am going to then go inside, get changed out of these clothes, chuck them straight in the washing machine, and chuck all the shoes that I've been wearing in the coop in the washing machine as well. And then from now on, it's gumboots only in the coop. And yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, because a week ago we had 200 mils of rain, and apparently this bug breeds really from the soil in wet conditions. So I'm not surprised, but they were supposed to be guaranteed plague-free, and they have been plague-full. So I'm going to change the water and get to cleaning. They're definitely working on yesterday's kitchen scraps, which I should have removed, but I have plans for that today. But they're definitely getting bolder. They're not as scared of me. They must have worked out that if I wanted to hurt them, I would have by now. I couldn't find a lot of poops. So I've removed what I could find from the property. We've cleaned out the hutch. Hopefully I got it all, but I think I'm just gonna have to be like really on top of it for, I don't know, 21 days. I think the packet said I've got to put that stuff in their water, which will be interesting when I'm away for a few days when I go back to work. But yeah, I think they're definitely hungrier today, which hopefully is a sign of reduced stress. You can see they're actively foraging around me. Freckle Betty, she's right behind me. She's a good girl. She's definitely the boldest of the three of them. But it's really nice to see them actually foraging and scratching around a bit. I definitely think they're a bit stressed. Sadly, I'm going to have to bring the dogs out very soon because the dogs need to do their morning wee. I'm just going to grab a few carrots that have gone to seed and pop them here, so they kind of got a bit of a visual barrier between them and the dogs. And yeah, then we'll get on with the day now that we've dealt with a rather situation. I've finally come back outside to do all the things that are on the list for today, because earlier when I went back inside to get changed after cleaning the coop out, it suddenly dawned on me how not only have I neglected the garden, and it's looking worse for wear because of the chickens, but I have neglected the housework much more than I normally do. So I needed to deal with some of that. So what we're going to do is make a food dispenser, and this is going to be perfect for just generally and for enrichment and to reduce the amount of work that I'm having to put into the chickens on a day-to-day basis, but also perfect for like when I'm away for a few days. I don't want to have to rely on the goodwill of my best friend who lives 3 doors down to come and deal with the chickens, because really they're not her problem and she doesn't need, you know, extra things to deal with. It's not fair to ask all the time. That being said, the kids want to come by again this afternoon to give the mealworms to the chooks. So what we're going to do is Gardening Australia's Hannah made a really cool self-feeding rodent-proof feeder just using a food grade bucket, and she put a 5mm eye bolt with a piece of wood on it on the end, and then the eye bolt goes in a hole in the bottom of the bucket, and there's just enough space around the eye bolt that when the chickens peck at the wood piece, some seeds but not a bajillion fall out. When Hannah did her feeder, she had a drill bit that had like some wide piece on the end to make a wider hole. Being that I'm not one with the tools and I don't even know what that doober is called, I'm just going to use the widest drill bit I have, and all the tools I have are things I got for free, so I have no idea where any of them came from or probably really how to use any of them. So we're going to try and make a big hole now. Okay, so I reckon that looks like it's going to fit the eye bolt, but obviously it needs to be wider for food to actually fall around it. Now I don't have a 5mm eye bolt. I have a 6mm marine eye bolt. I don't know what the difference is other than 1mm, but essentially I bought this one because it was the cheapest one available and it said marine bolt. And when you live in a coastal zone, everything gets salt damage. So I was kind of just looking for something to maybe make it through the week. Yep, so that's slightly wider than 5mm. So now maybe we can drill around that and make that hole a little bit wider. The piece of wood I have for the actual dongle is a piece of stick, because I don't have fancy bits of wood lying around. So something I didn't take into consideration before was the thickness of the stick versus the length of the eye bolt. Can you tell I don't play with tools much? So I actually don't know if that's going to be enough to let the food through. So I'm just going to pour some in and we'll check. So if I hold this up and I'm letting some through. Is that just because there's not enough around the base? Let's go test it in the run and see if that works any better in there when it's actually hanging up. I just quickly made a new stick with a new hole, and I know I say quickly like that's actually true, but this stick wasn't as heavy as the other one, wasn't as hard as the other one, so it didn't take as long. So I'm just going to put everything back in here. I'm just going to change that stick over. Lose the bolt in the grass. Excellent. And maybe this will be better. Maybe. At least it'll be more satisfying to peck. So I've got my bucket of goodies here. I've just given the girls some afternoon snacks of some corn and some defrosted watermelon. And Freckle Betty has obviously decided I'm not scary because she came to within like a foot of me. We had some good eye contact and then she decided to eat while I was standing there. So Freckle Betty's settling in really well. But I've also got a handful of wormwood. Now my plants are quite small, so there's really not that much to harvest. But given the girls are having poop shoot problems and that we're not quite on top of our roosting game, which is mostly my fault because this hutch sucks, I'm just going to put some wormwood in there because we don't want mite issues on top of poop shoot. So I've got some galvanized chain here because that was all I could get at the hardware store, and I've got a what is it, like a U-bolt thing, which is, the idea is basically like a carabiner that's not going to rust. Ideally I would actually have these shorter. I need another one of these, but I cannot undo the other one for the life of me, and the spare ones we bought I think are at Rachel's house. So for now this is just the way it's going to go, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. Could a chicken please come and stand nearby so I could tell how tall you guys are? Thanks very much all the same. Why do they make these things so hard to undo? I mean, I know you want security, but like to a point. Okay, so maybe we'll just use this one because it's already stuck there. Even though this is not really where I want my bucket. I do not have fingers of steel. Come back here. Stop being so fiddly. How many hands do you think I have? I think it's just because of the chain being in the way that I can't turn it, and my poor fingers have been destroyed from building this coop. But I reckon that's hopefully chicken height. If not, they should hurry up and grow. Okay, it's full of seed. Doesn't hang particularly well because I really need that other carabiner, but for now it'll have to do. Let's just test it. I'm a little chicken, peck, peck, peck. Yep, we've got seeds coming out. It's a bit stingy, but we'll see how they go. And if they get frustrated and don't use it because it's not giving them enough, then I'll make the hole wider. But I definitely need to do some adjustings just to get it to hang a little bit more level, but it'll do for now. One of the things I wanted to do today, but the day has kind of just gotten away from me, as some days do, is plant up this back area of the coop. At the moment, like if a fox came through, it'd have a hard time digging under just because there's a lot of wood behind the run, but at some point that's going to go. So what I wanted to do was have these heavy cinder blocks here. They're also weighing the inside predator protection down a little bit, and just kind of solidifying things a little bit. I don't know how much sun this is going to get in winter. I'm going to say none, so I don't know if any of these plants are actually going to make it through winter, but I guess we will find out. So I've got some oregano here. I keep wanting to say oregano. I've got some thyme, I've got some strawberry runners, I've got some coriander, and I'm not going to put any fertilizer in because I kind of think that's a bit redundant when they're in with the fertilizer machines. Even if chicken poop might burn them initially, they'll be right. and I don't want to put fertilizers in with the chickens. So I'm just going to stick these plants in. We'll see how they go, if the chickens have any interest in them. There's supposed to be a lot of health benefits for chickens with things like oregano, and garlic and things like that. So I've got plans to plant more garlic than I planted last year, because I've almost finished all the garlic I planted last year. But obviously I'm going to need now to consider, do I get some more to cover the chickens as well? But it's just, I haven't had a chance to get out into the garden, and that's part of what's delayed me today. And yes, these are in toilet rolls. I was inside before and I just suddenly realized like how much of the rest of my life I have been neglecting and how trashed the house is, and I just had to do 50 million loads of laundry and dishes and things like that. And I think it's been good for the Bettys. They've had some time to themselves today, which I think has helped them settle. Freckle Betty in particular seems to be the most settled. She will come up to me now when I bring snacks in and sort of stand 30 centimeters away from me and just kind of look me in the eye and see what I've got and be happy enough to eat while I'm near. I was just showing her how the pecking feed dispenser works. The other two were busy running away, and whoa, there's a big bitey ant there, kill it. And she was quite happy to have a look and see what was happening, and I think she'll probably work it out first. We put her in the dust bath, and you could kind of see her being like, I don't appreciate being shoved in here, but I might come back and investigate this later when you're not looking. So Freckle Betty does seem to get the idea faster than the other two. To be fair, the other two definitely have coccidiosis. I haven't seen any more blood poops. I have seen a diarrhea poop. Not that you needed to know all of that, but you know, whatever. But I've also seen them actually drinking from the water dispenser, which I'm really, really happy about, because I wasn't really sure if they knew what that was. I think some of the reason why they've been not super interested in kitchen scraps is I'm wondering if they've ever had them before. I'm wondering if they've just had pellets and scratch feed, because when I put in the seed feed this morning, Partridge Betty was like, she'd been starved her whole life and she was chowing down big time. So I don't know, I think some of it is maybe just a settling in process that we've got to go through, but I'm really happy to see them settling in, and now we've got these all planted up. Hopefully they'll survive. I'm going to water them in first, and then I'm going to need to obviously put some sort of protection over them so the Bettys don't come straight in and be like, snack time. Something I'm not sure about that hopefully I'll be able to find an answer to somewhere tonight is whether I have to change out this water every single day to treat the coccidiosis or whatever it is. Because I mean, I can understand if they had like a tray feeder that they could kind of climb in and poop in, because chickens seem to do special things like that. But if they can't actually climb in and they can only peck water, can I just leave that water to sit there for 48 hours and have that treatment in it and have that still be effective, or do I actually need to, for the potency of the medication, change it out all the time? So it's still just such a steep learning curve with these chickens, especially seeing they've arrived with issues. But I mean, look, hopefully we'll get on top of it, and hopefully we've caught it early, and hopefully this is like, a good learning experience and they don't die, and in the future when chickens have issues I'll be able to pick it easily. The thing I feel good about is that both of the Bettys, but they're all Bettys, both of the Wandyotes, which are the ones that have it, they seem perky, they seem healthy, they don't seem under the weather, which is good, and they certainly are seeming more perky each day. To be fair, it's only been slightly over 48 hours, but the fact that they're emotionally doing well, I think, is a good sign. So all I'm doing is using whatever chicken wire I have available to me and just trying to create some sort of barrier over the top of these so that the chickens can't get in there and completely destroy them. I mean, if they do, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty more strawberry runners where that came from. And the coriander I grew from seed. And I've got so much time in the garden, it's unreal. But the oregano is the only one we actually need to try and make sure it lives. But I'm just trying to use what I've got, secure everything to the fence as best I can, which is so annoying working with mesh. I'm so over it, but hopefully these girls are going to be safe. I look forward to finishing the roof over the next couple of days at some point, and then that will mean that I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn as well to let them out, because I'm going to leave the door open, and hopefully that works out for everybody and not for the foxes. But yeah, I mean, I think we've certainly tried to make this, oh, I can't get that through. We've certainly tried to make this like a safe environment for them, and I don't think we really could have done much else. So it is what it is. The last job I really wanted to do today is to bring this pot into the chicken run. I've already moved a pot with a large lemongrass plant in there. Lemongrass is quite a good plant in terms of pest repellent and also snake repellent, and I had it positioned in between my neighbour and where his garden shed is and our fence line, because he's had a large carpet python in there and I didn't want it to come over to our side. But that python doesn't seem particularly interested in coming to our side, thank God. And seeing as we're nearing the end of the main part of snake season, I thought I'd chance it and put that lemongrass in with the betties and hopefully give them a bit of a visual block from the dogs, a little bit more shade areas and hiding spaces for them, and that is hopefully also what this is going to do, as well as the health benefits. So we've got a wormwood plant here, a thyme and a mint. So this particular plant, a pot, is just leftover raspberry soil that we had, and it was already in this pot, so I was like, why not, nice and easy. And I've just got the wormwood here, a mint here and a thyme here. Mint is supposed to be quite good for chickens. I hate mint with a violent fiery passion, so I won't be eating any mint, which is why you've never seen any in this garden and why you never will, other than for the chickens. But mint can also be a bit of a thug apparently and sort of turn into a bit of a beast, and seeing as my chickens don't seem to be particularly aggressive, I don't want to trust them with the task of keeping mint under control, seeing as I hate mint. So this particular container has a flat bottom, so even if the mint does really well in this container, it's not going to be able to send roots into the ground. So the chicken wire in this is literally just to try and stop the betties from immediately killing the plants and hopefully give them a chance to grow up and kind of mature into this pot to where they can stand on their own a little bit more. And I'm hoping that as I go, I will learn more and more about what kind of plants are good for the chickens, and that the coop will develop more. I've got to work a lot more, as I've said, on the enclosure itself and on the safety of it. And I want to work more on the planting around the outside to try and give them privacy and protection, seeing I don't have like the carpentry skills to build a wood paneling around the side, or I don't know, whatever options you could do to provide a visual block. And I don't want to go and get like sheets of corrugated, whatever it is that the shed's made out of, colour bond to put around, because it just looks like an eyesore. I want it to be cute and covered in flowers and covered in pumpkins and all sorts of goodness. So I'm hoping that over time we will get there and things will develop, but there's a lot of work to be done. But I also need to get back into the regular garden. It's completely neglected, and if I'm not careful, I'm going to miss things like the garlic planting window and miss out on brassicas again, which I do not want to do. So I'm going to have to, you know, divide my time between the Bettys and the garden and kind of just work out how it all works. And of course, because now the Bettys are sick, I'm worried about them, and you know, it's just all the things. But I still haven't come up with any names for them other than the Bettys. So I think Freckle Betty will stay Freckle Betty because Freckle Betty's gangster. And Big Betty and Partridge Betty, I really want to think of names for them, but I'm, to be honest, too tired for that level of creativity. So if you have any ideas and any names or any coop names, definitely let me know below in the comments. I am going to go and pop this in their coop and then leave them to enjoy what is left of today, which is not very much. I am going to go and get my strawberry and grape water kefir that I've made and enjoy that. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I hope you found this video interesting in some way, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.